We're here today because there's an excitement in the air in Iowa. I sense that there are a lot of people who truly do believe that the message that faith matters, that family matters, that freedom matters to them. And I would like to believe that many of you are here today because you believe that when you go to caucus on January the 3rd, your vote and your voice is going to be heard, not just in your precinct. It's literally going to be heard all over this great land and across the world. You know, a lot of times people in Iowa wonder, do these caucuses matter? Does this whole Iowa thing really matter? And let me tell you something. If I win the Iowa caucuses, nobody will ever doubt again whether it matters. This isn't just about me getting elected. It's about preserving the importance of Iowa. Okay, so that's pandering to you and asking you to vote for me because I'm trying to get you to realize we both have something at stake that night, but we do. Because frankly, if somebody can get out spent 20-1 and win the Iowa caucuses, what does that say about America? It says that this is still a land. This is still a place where dreams come true. And it's still a place where the presidency can't be bought. And our public offices are not for sale to the highest bidder. It's still a place where we don't the highest office in the land. But we decide based on the things that matter to us because we believe that every human life is important. And we believe we ought to elect a president who won't just say it, but who has a record of fighting for human life from conception until its natural conclusion, because that's what makes America a strong nation. I know you guys have been standing in this very sort of enwrapped room here for quite some time. And before somebody passes out, I don't want to keep you unnecessarily long. But I want to share with you why it's so important that your voice and your vote is heard on January the 3rd. People over on the East Coast and New Hampshire are going to be paying attention to what happens. They're going to be watching in South Carolina and Michigan and in Florida. They'll be watching in California and Texas and Georgia, all the other states as well. That night they're going to say, is that other guy from Hope, Arkansas, for real? Does he really have a chance to be president? And that night, you're going to tell the rest of America, he not only has a chance to be president, but he's their choice for president. And when I get elected, it's going to revive the spirits and hopes and dreams that a lot of people have, that this country still is about them. Those folks who understand how hard it is to pay the rent. The people who really do want to see a complete overhaul of our tax system, who are tired of having an internal revenue service tell us what we get to keep and not letting us even have our own paychecks when we've gone out there and earned it. We're going to get the fair tax passed when we get elected president. So I'm asking you to roll up your sleeves, give us your best effort. We're going to need everybody out there doing everything he and she can. And I hope that somewhere in a crowded room, somewhere probably in Des Moines, on the night of January 3rd, I'm going to go to a podium. I'm going to look out there into the faces of some of you, and I'm going to say thank you for giving me the night of my life. And America's going to say thank you for restoring faith in a political system that's not just run by corporate greed, but it's run by ordinary citizens in places like Des Moines who say, we'll elect the president. We'll pick who's going to be. And money can't buy us because we're not for sale. We're not even for rent. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We'll take a couple of quick questions. We don't want to keep you real long, but I want to take a couple. Yes, sir, right there.
Yes, my name is Colonel. Steve Button's hole, and the other Mike Huckabee, and
Hey, you can come up here a minute, John. Come here. I mean, this guy knows marketing, doesn't he? These are great-looking buttons, and I just want you to know that if you've not thought about what to get your husband or your wife for Christmas, I have the perfect gift idea for you. You go by John's kiosk and get a chest full of these delightful-looking buttons here.
And he has 5 more different styles coming in on Friday.
Let's hear it for John. Okay, you selling buttons? Well, you should be, by golly. I mean, it's good for us. Yes, sir. We have.
Last week you gave a speech at the Des Moines University on healthcare. And there's 2 clarifications I would like to get from you. You said that rather than being the insurance company focus, that you were going to make it patient focused on making a decision. And I'd like to know what you mean by that, and also how is that going to ensure the 47 million people who are uninsured?
The key is moving us, first of all, from the intervention base to the prevention base. That's the biggest problem in our healthcare system. It's not a healthcare system, it's a disease management system. And we wait until the catastrophic effects of the disease are in place. The next focus is, as we're making that shift, then you start putting the control and ownership of the health policy in the hand of the individual consumer. Right now, you don't get your car insurance from your employer, you don't get your home insurance from your employer, or your life insurance. Why should you get your health insurance from your employer? So the point is that you create the system so that you actually have ownership of it. And there's, again, more than enough money in the system. When I hear people say, how do we get to universal coverage? Folks, that's not the challenge. The challenge is to make universal coverage so that we actually are covering health, not just covering disease. And it's a matter of transforming the 3 components of a healthcare system, which are access, affordability, and quality. Most of the talk today is simply access. We're not talking affordability or quality, and if you don't put those 2 pieces in, then all you have is an absolutely unsustainable, costly system. So the process is that as we're transitioning to the prevention side, you get incentives for the management of your own life. The affordability becomes where it's not just a tax issue, where it's tax deductible, but it's actually so that there's a process in place, the safety net. We did this in Arkansas for small businesses. There's no reason this can't be done across the country. And there's only, by the way, of the 47 million uninsured, a third of those are uninsured because they're self-insured, they have enough money. A third could be insured, but they just choose not to because they're young and they think they're invincible, and so they choose not to insure. But there are a third who absolutely just don't have the money for the insurance, and those are the ones we really got to focus on first. And the reality is, this is a healthcare system that spends $2 trillion a year, 17% of the gross domestic product, 17%. That's 4 times what we spend in the military budget, including the war in Iraq. So it's not a lack of funding, it's a lack of where it goes. And right now, 80% of that funding goes to treat chronic disease at the end of life. If we put some of those resources at the beginning of life and the prevention side, you start balancing out. The funding is not our challenge. It's where we put it that becomes the challenge. And so our healthcare plan is really focused on putting the whole model right side up instead of the upside down model that it's got. Yes, sir.
My wife is a lifelong Democrat.
We'll pray for her. We can do that. Well, I'm glad to hear that. If you didn't hear it, he said his wife is a lifelong Democrat, but last week told him that she's going to vote for Huckabee. So you tell her she is my kind of Democrat. I'll take her any day. Thank you. Folks, I know you're tired. Now you got to go down to John's shop and do some shopping for those buttons. I really